Good morning and welcome to the show. The topic this morning is Meharry Medical College, and we're privileged to have with us as our guest this morning Dr. David Satcher, who is the president of Meharry Medical College. And Dr. Satcher, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
Well, thank you, Dr. Haney. It's good to be here again.
Dr. Satcher, the purpose of this show this morning is to give the community what we might call an update of the merger, or the proposed merger between Meharry Medical College and Metro General Hospital. But before we do that, I'd like for you to talk, first of all, about your background and your education and career, some of the things that you feel to be important that brought you to Meharry Medical College.
Well, I'd be delighted to do that. That goes back quite a few years now. I was born and reared in Anniston, Alabama, and graduated from the public schools there in Calhoun County, and went from Anniston to Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. Morehouse, even though it was only 100 miles away, was a long ways from Anniston, and I believe I was the first student from Calhoun County Training School to go to Morehouse. I had a great experience at Morehouse. Even though I was from a very rural area in Alabama, I got quite involved at Morehouse, was ultimately president of the student body there, and graduated in 1963 with a major in pre-medicine. While I was at Morehouse, I became involved with research. Dr. Roy Hunter had gotten me involved in research in his laboratory, and I had done a summer at Texas Southern on a National Science Foundation scholarship. So even though medicine had always been my goal, by that time I decided that I also wanted to do some research. So I ended up going to Case Western Reserve on an MD PhD program. It was a well-defined curriculum where a student did so much medicine, so much graduate studies, and then entered this research program. So I was at Case Western from 63 to 70, did both the MD and the PhD degree at Case Western. My research was in cytogenetics, and by that it had to do with the study of chromosomes and the damage that radiation and I-131 iodine can do to chromosomes. So after leaving Case Western, I went to the University of Rochester in Rochester, New York, where I trained in medicine and pediatrics. It was a mixed program. Again, I had a very good experience at Strong Memorial Hospital. That hospital served that whole section of New York State. But then in 1972, I really left Rochester because I was really concerned about getting more involved with the healthcare issues that impacted upon black and underserved people. So I ended up going out to Los Angeles, to Watts, in fact, because I had heard that they were building a hospital, the Martin Luther King Jr. Hospital, in the middle of Watts to serve a population that had not had access to care. And there was a professor out there, the head of community medicine, by the name of M. Alfred Haynes, and I understand you're going to have him on your show later.
We will.
But I went out there as a Macy faculty fellow under Dr. Haynes, and while I was out there, I developed a sickle cell research center and got involved generally in community medicine. Spent 2 years at UCLA as a Robert Wood Johnson clinical scholar, was on the faculty at UCLA and at King Drew. Ended up chairman of the department at King Drew before I left, and then I was interim dean the last 2 years I was at Drew. I had planned to stay in Los Angeles 2 years, but I ended up staying there 7 years and becoming quite involved. But in 1979, Dr. Lewis Sullivan had gone back to Morehouse to start a medical school, and had been talking with me for many years about coming back and joining him. And in 1979, with things changing in my family, I decided I wanted my children to be closer to their grandparents. And so came back south to Atlanta to work at the Morehouse School of Medicine and to chair its first clinical department, Community and Family Medicine, and developed a residency training program there in family medicine, and stayed there 3 years. And then it was after that time that the Meharry situation came up, and there was a lot of discussion throughout the country about the importance of Meharry and its history, but also about the fact that its future was threatened. And it was in that whole environment that I became involved as a candidate. I believe first came to Nashville in December of '81 as a candidate, and even though I really was not interested in being a college president, I had no interest. In fact, one of the reasons I left Drew is because I didn't want to be a full-time administrator, and I had become the interim dean. And when they had offered me the permanent deanship is one of the times I decided to leave. So the whole idea of coming to Meharry was not something I had planned, because I had not planned to be a college president. But it was really Meharry's mission, I think, that excited me, and that resulted in my coming here in July of 1982.
Very good. And so since